Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I hope you guys are having a good week. Listen, okay? on YouTube nje peace ayifuneki. We don't want peace, we want problems. Anyway, you guys, do make sure that you are subscribed to this channel and also do like the video. And before I tell you my view on this subject of Owamie Entertainment, talking about Lungelo from Engineer Your Life. By the way, you guys, me and Lungelo do have the same surname, but we do not know each other. No. He is my relative because he has the same surname as me, but I don't know Lungelo. So before you are like, yeah, I'm Lungelo. Number one, guys, before I say what my opinion is in the subject, like people had asked to go to that, what do you think about this? And I had posted on my community post last night, and it was a joke, but some people were taking it serious. I'm like, guys, you have to get used to this channel. You have to go with the flow, You have to recognize when we are joking, and you have to recognize when we are playing around, and we do a lot of playing around. So before I say what I'm going to say, you guys, I know there are those comments that are going to come from, the ones that are not even going to listen to the video, and they will go into the comment section and say, when yeah, those ones. Here is an answer that is equal to your comment, because I know your comment, don't use this to do this. Those comments, here is your reply for tech. Now, let me talk to my viewers who are going to use their brains to come into the comment section to tell me how they feel about my opinion, and then tell me their opinion using their brains. The ones that use this to do this, let me talk to those viewers. So yesterday, you guys, somebody had sent me a link of Owamie Entertainment, doing one of those videos that she does when she's upset at somebody, on YouTube, when she's upset with one of the colleagues on YouTube. She was talking about Lungelo, the YouTuber, the podcaster from Engineer Your Life. And the issue that she has with him is that she feels like Lungelo is poaching her guests on the... It looks like Lungelo will see somebody being interviewed by Owamie, and then he will approach that very same person to do the interview. And Owamie doesn't like it, and she feels like Lungelo should go on and find his own guests. Okay. Here's the thing, you guys. When it comes to the podcasts in South Africa, I've always felt like they interview the same people, and I felt like I understand part of it's because it's like if you see a topic do well in a channel, then you know that it's going to do well in your channel. So, and you don't want to do videos where you are not sure if people are going to watch them or not, because podcasting is different from us just coming on and doing a video on your own. There is cost associated with sitting down with somebody doing an interview. So if the interview is not going to do well, why would you even bother doing the interview? So I understood it from that point of view. If you know that somebody's interview has trended, you know that there are chances that you are going to get the views to you guys, which is basically what we do on YouTube. You are looking for stories that are trending because you want to be able to get the views and you want to be able to make money on YouTube. It's just the way that we operate. There is no training over here on YouTube. You have to develop your own strategy on how you do well here on YouTube. So Owamie interviewed Somizi's baby mama, had part 1 and part 2. I did not watch because I was like, this woman has spoken about this whole thing of having Somizi as a baby daddy for like too long. Like, what do you need, because obviously you haven't health. I feel like that, you guys, when it comes to Balisa and her talking about that whole thing of her being a baby mama to Somizi. Also, you guys, sometimes telling your story can become a drag sometimes. Like, do we need to hear about this all the time? You sit down and do an interview. That is me. That is how I feel. I'm not saying that she must not talk about it. That is me. That's why I no longer watch her when she's being interviewed. Okay. Now, Balisa has been on many podcasts. Yabona, if you put her name here in the search thing on YouTube and just put her name and say podcast, you're going to get a few podcasts. She's been on the Sand Twins. She has been on Church Reality. There's another one. It was the first time I saw the podcast when I searched her name just to see how many podcasts she's been on. There's another podcast where she was talking about how she regrets divorcing her husband. So she's been on, a few podcasts here on YouTube, maybe more than a few. Okay. When I saw her do an interview on Owamie, even though I did not watch the interview, and I also saw her daughter doing an interview on Lungelo's podcast, I was like, I wonder if the two of them are shopping for a reality TV show, because I just don't understand. Like, it's not like they have a certain TV show that they're on right now. What is happening? Why are they just feeling the need to tell us this story right now? I also didn't watch the interview on Lungelo's podcast, but I saw yesterday that it did very well. I think when I checked last night, it was at 179,000 views. So I checked because I was like, listen, if you interview Faga Ekulumeni, you have to have made a lot of money from it. And when I saw the views, I was like, oh, okay, I can see how it might cause problems. Okay, so now the issue that Owamie is having is that why is Lungelo or his producer approaching people that she is interviewing? I'm like, why is he? Because he's on YouTube, you guys. That's what people on YouTube do. There's this podcaster who does Christian content. He usually interviews people that will be like, Abefundisi, that he interviews people that will be like, I used to be a Satanist. Konoma interview where this woman said, she used to be umtagat, ukokovula umtagat. And at some point when Chris's network was interviewing brother Enigma, then he would make comments about the interview of brother Enigma, almost challenging what brother Enigma would be saying on Chris's network. And then people started coming into the comment section saying you are jealous of Chris's network because the channel is doing so well. And he did a video and he explained, guys, you actually don't understand that me and Chris are actually very close. So many of the guests that Chris has had on his channel, they have come to me and I've realized what's actually the content is more suitable for Chris's channel, and I would send them to Chris. Sometimes Chris does the same when he has guests that he thinks the content is more suitable for my podcast, then he sends them to my podcast. But it does not mean that if I say I'm challenging what the guest has said on his podcast, that now me and Chris are fighting over guests. No. It's not even a problem if somebody goes to Chris's network and then comes to my network. It's just that I forgot the guy's name, but he does Christian content. He interviews like people. It's like a Christian podcast, basically. So, and my understanding was that there is no need to even fight about guests because, people will watch a person here and they will watch a person there as well. It's the same thing when it comes to the gossip. You have to add your personality to the story because obviously they're going to watch a story being done by Mam Kopos and they're going to they want to watch it when I do the story 2 hours after Mam Kopos does it. But we all are doing the same thing because we are all trying to talk about the trending stories and we are all trying to get the views. If Ulungelo is sitting there just waiting on Owamie to interview somebody and then push that person. I see the issues with if they have a relationship on YouTube, that is a weird thing to do to a friend. But there's nothing wrong with interviewing guests that have been on Owamie's podcasts. Now, that part of it depends on the relationship that they had, the two of them. And did Lungelo intentionally poach guests that had been on Owamie's channel? Is there evidence of that? Because when I went to Lungelo's channel just to look at the interviews he's done, there isn't many interviews that he's done where the people have been on Owamie. I think the issue has been with the so Mrs. Baby Mama and, her daughter. So, like, if it was like maybe 10 of those guests, and immediately after Owamie interviews somebody, then I would say, only they know if it really happened that way. And maybe Owamie's feelings, that part of it, maybe Owamie's feelings are valid, okay? But you cannot stop somebody. If that is their strategy, they are deciding that they're going to use on YouTube, they're not going to interview just anybody. They have to see somebody being interviewed in another channel. And if the interview does well, then they approach that person. And maybe Owamie is not the only person. Maybe he's done it with the other podcasters as well. But the other podcasters just know that's how things are on YouTube. Now, you guys, the most ridiculous of all ridiculous things that I have ever heard on YouTube was the part where Owamie was talking about the diary of a CEO. You guys know that I watched Diary of a CEO. I've even shared some of the interviews. I would say to you guys, please go watch this interview because I like interviews. It's just that some of our South African podcasters, they do too much of these stories. I was married, my husband beat me up, and then the Togoloshe came to the house, and then I was bitten by a ghost, and then I'm like, can I have an interview of just a normal person, about somebody, how they made it in business or something, okay? The sangomas, they go takata, they whatever, sometimes I'm like, I watch South African podcasters in measures, because sometimes it's like, depressing stories about marriage, depressing stories about relationships. I can't take it sometimes, okay? So I like to watch Diary of a CEO. Now, why I say that part of it was ridiculous was, if you are a podcaster on YouTube and you are interviewing people and you want to improve your skills interviewing people, and you are not watching the Diary of a CEO, what are you even doing? Because the Diary of a CEO, he is one of the best interviewers here on YouTube with over 9,000, with over 9 million subscribers. Go watch that guy's views, okay? It's like, why are we even here on YouTube, He is one of the best interviewers. So if you are not watching him and learning from him and maybe modeling some of your stuff based on his channel, what are you even doing? That is like the best thing to do if you want to be a good interviewer on YouTube. You need to watch the Diary of a CEO. If you are not watching the Diary of a CEO, you should be watching the Diary of a CEO because he is one of the best interviewers. Okay. Now, the thing to point out that Lungelo is copying Diary of a CEO. I don't understand how that has to do with Owamie. But listen, you guys, people be thinking that we've only been on YouTube for a couple of years, okay? They forget that we've been here watching even before we were YouTubers ourselves. So back in the day, Owamie, or her channel used to feel like she has modeled it. She has used Tasha K's channel to sort of model her channel. Angazi noma understandeka yindlela because isikhathi esinkisi-ke guys, it felt like she watches Tasha K, she admires Tasha K, and that is her inspiration, and she wants her channel to get to be like Tasha K's. And back in the day, you guys, Tasha K also didn't do interviews. She was just coming on talking about gossip stories like we do. She will come on with her phone and she'll be reading her story on her phone and all of that. And if you will be looking at the background, the way that her background will be set up, you'll be feeling like Owamie watches Tasha K. There was nothing wrong with that because Tasha K at the time was doing very well compared to how Owamie was doing at the time. Obviously, what is wrong with that? If she feels like, okay, this is how I want my channel to look like. Owamie even started drinking wine on her channel because of unwine with Tasha K. Tasha K was like the first YouTuber we saw in gossip that would be gossiping and drinking wine. And Owamie started drinking wine on her channel. Okay. You did it yourself. Okay. when I came on YouTube, the person that was an inspiration for me was Sims Right, and I liked how she would add like sense of humor to her videos, even though I wouldn't be copying her. But the idea of bringing in your personality when you do a video, I got that from Sims. Like you can be doing a gossip story and be funny about it, like just make it light. That's what I did. Okay. Now, that's what people have done on YouTube. That part is ridiculous, you guys. That part is ridiculous. Even her, Owamie, is watching the Diary of a CEO. You know, the reason she even knows what there is a Diary of a CEO is because she watches that channel. There are things she learns from that channel that she uses on her channel. That's why her channel is successful. Now, you can't be now having a problem with people doing that, the very thing that you have done yourself. You know, you have watched certain channels and you have modeled your channel against other people's channels, and you have been very successful doing so. Why shouldn't Lungelo do it? It's ridiculous. That part of it, guys, is ridiculous. I really feel like the point about her guest being poached, maybe though that is valid, but the Diary of a CEO situation is just ridiculous. If that's what Lungelo wants to do, let Lungelo do that. You've done it yourself. We've seen it. We remember. The videos are here. If people wanted evidence, they could actually find it, unless the videos are now deleted. Okay. So that part of it, you guys, was just like ridiculous. Now, what is wrong, you guys, is for ninjas to now go into Lungelo's channel bullying him because of what Owamie said. And honestly, you guys, people will say, but Owamie didn't tell the people to go to Lungelo's channel. But you know your people, you know what you're doing without even saying it, you know what you're doing. And I think that it will help if she said in the video, guys, please don't go into his videos, don't approach him, don't do none of that. It is wrong for these people now that are going to Lungelo's channel, and they are basically posting these comments about what Owamie said in videos that have nothing to do, or on videos that have nothing to do with what Owamie was talking about. That is bullying. You are not supposed to do that. That's why I say use this to do that. If you can just think about that every time you post a comment, then we would not have problems here on YouTube. Okay. Anyway.